Welcome guys, I want to quickly invite you to our Owner Operator Forum Facebook group. So if you search Owner Operator Forum, we will show up, you can request to join, and you will have access to us and a bunch of people that are like-minded, business-oriented, and would like to learn about trucking. There will be a lot more content, more videos, behind the scenes, Facebook Lives. So go check it out, and I'll see you there.
Welcome to the Trucking Podcast. My name's Sebastian.
My name's Jose, guys.
Good morning, man. How's it going?
Morning, brother. How you feeling?
Good. A little bit chesty. You can hear my voice, but
yeah, I could definitely hear it. How about we practice some social distancing?
I know, right? This is 6 feet now. Social distancing jokes. I love that. All right, what are we going to talk about today?
Today's topic is going to be about OEM versus aftermarket. Is it worth going with the aftermarket, or in what scenarios can you go with the aftermarket?
Yes, which parts you should stay away and not consider
aftermarket.
Yeah.
Correct.
You got a list? You got some?
I wrote down a couple things. To start off, I would say.
Wait, I want to do two things before we start. What's happening in the shop? Anything major we had? We
had this Cascadia. I don't know if you guys can see it in the bag. It's a red one. That's one of our gliders. Driver claims that he's hearing a noise after the engine brake goes off, after he's using the engine brake. Yeah. So what I'm thinking is that the engine brake is getting stuck. We're gonna have to remove the Jake brake assemblies and inspect them, possibly rebuild the springs on them.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? A couple. The other Cascadia, we have both of them.
Both of the gliders are here. Yeah.
Which the other one had some minor stuff. We thought kingpins, but no.
Fog lights. It's just really minor stuff on that one.
Yeah. And then outside we have some other. I'm trying to think if there's anything worth mentioning, but no, those two. I would say in our
we're doing kingpins on that ISX. Well, that Volvo.
ISX Volvo. Yeah.
The only ISX that we have in the fleet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's correct. And then today is Friday. We are our Facebook group launched on Wednesday, Owner Operator Forum. So please, if you guys haven't checked that out yet, check it out. You have to request to join, and we already have some good conversations going on over there. I like it. Yeah. So I say check it out. Let us know if we can help in any way. Just submit questions or submit it to the group, and she'll help you out. Right. All right. Let's talk about OE versus aftermarket. First, do you want to explain what OE actually means? We've been using that term, and somebody pointed out to me, guys, what is that? What are you talking about?
Original equipment manufacturer. Yeah, exactly. So that's basically engine parts, body parts, any part that's on the vehicle. Doesn't have to be a semi-truck, car, whatever. Original parts that the truck was built.
Branded with the company that makes the vehicle, makes the parts.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I want to get to that a little later. I mean, a little down the road.
Well, we wouldn't say they make the parts. You know how that goes.
Yeah. So that's exactly what I want to talk about is. Let's say Volvo makes shocks, right? They have a Volvo branding on them. Do they make the shocks?
Not really.
Yeah. So it's pretty much manufacturer approved, I would call it.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're willing to put their name on it and stand behind the quality and sell it as their own OE part.
And they want to get their cut.
OE part. Yeah, which is everybody wants,
it's part of the business, right?
Everybody wants to get their own cut, but what I would suggest where the difference is. So what's the difference between OEM and aftermarket?
I would say, and it's pretty obvious. I mean, quality.
Mm-hmm. Number one. Yeah.
Quality number one. Longevity of the parts. Mm-hmm. How long they're gonna last.
And so, with quality, what follows? They're usually cheaper, right?
They're cheaper, yes.
Would you find aftermarket parts better than OEM?
If you're constantly replacing them, if you're constantly, let's say, body parts that are getting damaged, then absolutely, I don't see why not.
That's a good point. Yeah, because the fit and finish on aftermarket body parts doesn't really matter that much.
Or even, let's say, mirror covers. You know, that's something that can easily get damaged.
Yeah, corner bumpers.
Bumper corners. What else? Like the side fairings, stuff like that.
Yeah, we probably have in stock usually a decent amount of those corners. That's especially rails. It's getting damaged a lot, but
and the mirrors too, right? Like when you guys go into that in that house.
Sometimes, yeah. But lower body parts in general is something that I've touched on before. Like I look for trucks that don't have the bottom fairings for that specific application. OTR, it's fine. Yeah. But if you actually have a truck that has lower fairing, we should shoot a video around that. One of our gliders came in with all the bottom part ripped out, and I think we should look into that, because I think we could have caught it, but we could probably shoot a video around that. But what happened was the whole Columbia glider fairing dropped. Right, it dropped on the side. It's a one whole big piece. So if you break that, it's expensive. You know.
Happened overnight, or
yes, last night he came in. I pulled it in here. He didn't damage it, but it was very close to being damaged. It was literally an inch from the ground.
Okay.
So that's why I say, and I veered off to a different topic, but like the aftermarket bumper, like fairings and bumpers, doesn't really matter. Of course, it makes more sense to do that, right? You got to make sure the painting sometimes just is going to cost you extra.
Yeah.
But what else is there that we think is a good thing to buy aftermarket? What do you think?
Headlights, I would say. Yes and no, because we've had our scenarios with them.
I can tell you, I would not buy those aftermarket Volvo headlights anymore.
Because they, like you said, running the rails, they rattle too much and they end up falling off the studs.
Everything inside is just falling apart.
Cheaper made, obviously. Cheaper quality in them.
Yeah. Which means when you're running it on rails and in rougher conditions, you're only speeding up the life cycle of the item. Using it on OTR, it's going to happen, but is it going to last as long as an OEM part? No. We've already proven it over and over again, and those lights are not worth it. No. And there are many different. Well, I want to be fair. There are different manufacturers with different quality for each item, so we can't just put an equal across all the parts, because some aftermarket parts are done better than others. Right? There is not one place that makes them. Well, maybe there is in China. Up to right now, we haven't came across a good aftermarket Volvo headlight. No, if you guys know a good one that you tested, we've tested a couple, and you recommend, let us know, because we've yet to find one. We've tried a good 3-4 brands on them, and they all seem to fail. Yeah, but either the harness is cheap on them, the wiring gauge. They just handle the headlight amperage draw, and they're just melting. Yeah, we had a couple of those. But even though we think we tested 3 different ones, you know how they do it, right? There's one source that they're getting it, and they're white labeling it, or they're calling it their thing, but it comes from one source. So, we haven't had luck with those. What else is there that we would say on the Fredliner? What do you think? Because we've been talking Volvo a lot, but what have we been using Fredliner aftermarket that's been working on? Not really. We don't have that many damages. Body parts on the Fredliners? No, to be honest, no. Yeah, is it? That's I just realized the Volvos are getting beat up a lot. Well, maybe just because we have a lot more of them, but I would say it's a design on the bumper compared to the Columbias. Obviously, the Columbias, it's more of a solid reinforcement on the inside. Yeah, and it might be even higher. It is higher. Yeah. So there's less chances of it being hit, picking something up on the road. Yeah. Hitting the snowbanks, backing up into docks, stuff like that. Yeah. But the Cascadias have the side fairings. We have few Columbias that have the side step, and then the ones that don't have. No, I was going to tell you, the one that just came in damaged, we can just literally swap it to the step on the tank.
Yeah, we could.
I don't want to do that fairing anymore. We should take it out. He's running rails, and I don't want to get it damaged. So we could do a video around converting.
Doing that swap.
Fairing to a step. Volvo has that issue too. Some Volvos, when you buy them, when they come with fairings, it's not always easy to swap it to just steps. You know what I mean? You have the battery box in there.
Yeah.
So then you have to redesign the bracket to get the bracket that covers the batteries when you have the step on it.
Yeah, on the back side of the frame rail. Yeah.
So I just got some that are like that. They don't have the side fairings. They're coming in probably today. We're gonna have some. So
okay,
we're gonna
good.
shoot some stuff, but we'll. I want to see if we could do conversion on a Volvo. I would want to try it and see.
You get a parts list going together, right?
Yeah. So so we've pretty much we're agreeing on the things that are fine with buying aftermarket. Are we missing anything? What about radiators?
Radiators, you're hit or miss on those for the reason being that they won't match sometimes when you're putting them in the frame. Some of the hoses you'll have trouble. How many times have we had to return things? Hey, this doesn't match, and you end up losing more time, more downtime. Downtime is money, obviously.
But why don't they match?
Let's say, I don't know.
The reason why the ones we haven't matched were there are two reasons, and I also want to be fair. Sometimes running it by VIN and ordering the part from somebody, they make mistakes, and they're cross-referencing it, and then all of a sudden, either there's an error, human error there, or they give you the wrong part, or they give you, because remember a couple of those we got, they were almost the same design, exactly the same design, but off by half an inch.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that happened more on the gliders, on the on Columbias.
Yes. Yeah. But I feel like I feel like I don't want to do radiators aftermarket anymore. I feel I don't know, to be honest with you. I'm not really happy with any of those that we were getting.
Also, if you get an original one, I would say 8 out of 10 you're gonna get it with the frame. Whether if you get an aftermarket, you have to remove it from the frame. The frame isn't, depends where the truck's been running.
Mm-hmm.
Frame isn't in the best condition either.
Yeah, true.
So you're saving labor on that. You just remove and drop it in compared to disassembling, etc.
Yeah. So let's go into the more expensive items.
Engine components. You want to go with OEM.
Yeah.
Injectors, turbos,
Harness,
definitely.
Even though I want to stop here for a second because I feel like
Tail light harness, we can go aftermarket.
Yeah. The main I wouldn't, but tail light. Engine harness, but I don't want to go into that rabbit hole because it's a life cycle of OEM harness in general, right? But we're looking at old trucks, so if it also depends what are you planning to do with that truck, as everything else. If you want that engine harness or the injector harness, you're going to get rid of it, then obviously buying something aftermarket, it's not going to really matter. But if you have a glider kit, like I've been telling drivers, like don't try to like save on parts because you're going to keep that truck, and that's been for sure in our case. Like we're looking at the components, like anything that has to do with engine, we're just getting OEM. That's critical component. All right.
Engine, suspension. I don't think you want to go aftermarket. They sell aftermarket springs. I've seen them fail. Mm-hmm. Shocks, airbags.
I would say shocks and airbags. I'm not so sure.
I don't know. We've seen some airbags. You put two aftermarket brands, they won't fill up at the same evenly. Especially on the cab.
Are you sure you put the right ones? Both of the same ones. One's red lighter, one's Volvo, one's it's shorter one. No, but that's a good point. Well, okay, so you wouldn't. So because we do have a lot of aftermarket airbags in stock right now, but you haven't been seeing them perform as well as? I haven't heard anything, to be honest.
Just on that, them not filling up properly.
Okay. Shocks is. I feel like shocks and suspension should be a completely separate show about, because we've had so many different situations with aftermarket well-known brands that were just garbage, and I don't know if it was
Bad luck or bad
run.
Yeah, bad.
But we've walked away from some brands because they were just pure garbage.
Yeah.
So that's something we could maybe touch on a little. I don't think shocks have to be OEM, to be honest with you. You just find a good brand that makes shocks, because it's not
a good brand. You don't want to go with the cheapest one either, because there's.
Yeah, and we're open to sponsorships for any parts makers. I'm kidding.
Send us a pallet of shocks. We'll give them a try.
We'll test them out. Long-term test.
Also, transmissions, like as far as let's say rebuilding internals, they sell aftermarket gears, aftermarket bearings, wheel bearings for the driver, the steers. They sell aftermarket.
Yeah, we have bad experience with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, but to be fair, there are aftermarket manufacturers that actually make good quality product. And now I want to kind of loop into, well, if somebody's making that part for Volvo or for Freightliner, why not just brand it as your own and sell it in the aftermarket place? Because that's what we've figured out, is who makes what for what and for who and for what, and then we just buy that
one, exactly.
So that's been a good thing. But you want to talk about those knock sensors for a second?
Yeah, we were having issues.
Tell the whole story out, because I want the picture. The entire story is important. How we bought the trucks that were $500,000, and then we started looking at them and started having issues on a road. And I think those components were swapped right before I picked them up. So I don't think they were using them. I think they needed to be swapped because they showed codes, and they swapped them on with those components.
Just to sell them and see. Yeah. We had a good 8 of them, right? Mm-hmm. I would say so. A good handful of them. Throwing codes for outlet, inlet knock sensors. We were putting them on. We were buying them. No, we actually did buy a couple from that same brand that we had the issue with the Kingpins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. Some of them were lasting 2 weeks. Some of them a month.
Kingpins or knock sensors?
Well, the Rigforce brand from the Kingpins. Remember that bearing video that we did?
Yeah. So I just want to clarify, because
same exact brand, but they manufacture.
I wanted to clarify what lasted 2 weeks: the bearings or the knock sensors, because they both weren't.
The Kingpins, we didn't put them together. Remember, we had to go with the OEM, obviously.
Yeah.
That Rigforce brand unfortunately wasn't doing it.
Okay, so we got. So let's talk about those knock sensors.
We actually did a trial run. I believe we had 2 units in the shop at the time. They both needed inlet and outlet. Mm-hmm. We did the OEM on one, and we did the aftermarket on the other, and we saw the difference. They obviously didn't. The OEM outlasted the other ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yes, all the conditions, everything in the. It's not like something else would have threw out that sensor, like overdosing, def dozer. No, everything was.
We checked harnesses. There was no electrical issues. It was something that we had constantly drivers complaining about not being able to not only regen, but it was just derating the truck, and it was just creating a lot of issues. And I think after that trial run, we did a second one, which I remember it actually ran on it a little longer, but it came back, and then Rick was like, "This is the problem. That's why it's the problem." Or you said it. Somebody said it. Somebody smart. I think I said it.
Of course, Savo's got to take credit for it. If I'm not mistaken, brain fart right there. I lost it right there.
But there was a couple trucks that we realized that was the problem. That was causing the issue with the regen and with trucks, coming back all the time to the shop. So. I take credit for everything.
Yeah,
you know that, right? Okay. What else is there that we would not recommend buying OEM? Any sensors? I would say
sensor OEM.
always OEM, and then I was gonna. I was lost for a second. After treatment. So
After treatment, yeah, they do
SCR, DPF. What's our opinion about the DPF aftermarket? What have we
recently
seen?
we did one aftermarket, and right now it's on a test run. Let's see how long it lasts.
Yeah,
So we can't speak for that one yet.
and we can't speak for SCR yet too. We haven't done.
We haven't had any issues yet.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, yeah.
But we do have backups now because we have backups filters, but
We sent some to clean out, and yeah, we're ready.
they passed. But other than that, wheel seals, all that stuff. It's just kind of wearables that you.
No, even on the wheel seals, I would.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I remember that we did have a conversation on that.
I would still go with there's some good brands out there.
Yeah.
You don't want to go with the cheapest one either.
Yeah, but the cheapest wheel seal is gonna just keep. We've had a lot of those issues.
Also, one other important thing I would do is the air dryer cartridge or the dryer. I would do the whole OEM.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go with the cheap $20 filter. You want to go with the OEM filter.
Yeah. And if you have an iShift, also same thing with anything around iShift. I wouldn't swap for unless you want to do like a custom shifter.
Custom what like a 3-foot extension is?
Yeah, for iShift. But yeah, anything else you want to add? I think
we covered a good.
We made sense between what could be swapped with aftermarket and things that you shouldn't. I should buy OEM. We do have questions. I wanted to get the questions too. I haven't brought any questions from our Facebook group because we're working on content and we're gonna do Facebook Live and YouTube Live, and I want to create a little bit more interaction. But we have few questions from our YouTube. Question number one: your opinion of D11 2009? No DEF, just DPF. Same as D13.
It's the first gen.
Yeah, and I don't have. We really don't see a lot of those D11s.
No,
I would want to know what application, but
I would say it's probably like a day cab.
Yeah,
Day
it's a
cab,
smaller truck. It's
probably doing some cross towns, so it's been idling a lot.
High mileage D11.
I would say stay away from it.
Yeah, find something older.
Yeah.
If you're going that far.
It depends what kind of work he's doing, obviously, right?
Yeah, it all depends on that. But 2000, like if you're already at 09, then go to.
There you go. You hear that glider running? Series 60.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I thought Rick. That's Rick's ringtone. It is loud in the. I don't know. Maybe it's not picking up.
Trust me, it's gonna pick it up for sure.
Just pick it up there. Yeah. All right. Question number 2. I really appreciate you guys giving out all this information from your personal experience. What are the differences where a truck has 3 axles but only 6 tires? So the drive axles have single tires. Is that setup good for 7-car hauler trailer? So he's talking about super singles.
Super singles, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah. My experience with super singles, OTR, if you're not going if you blow that tire,
it's going to cost you big money,
and it's going to cost you because they're going to have to bring out another super single, but rolling resistance is a lot better. That's the only difference.
Fuel economy, you're going to get better.
The rolling resistance is definitely a lot better. So for fuel economy, yes. For car hauler, I don't think it's needed. And if truck does not have a PTO, how expensive is it to convert a truck so that it does? Or would it be better of buying a truck with the PTO already? And that question is from Donald Wilson. The first one was from the Renaissance. This one is from Donald Wilson.
I guess that's all up to liking. If you find a truck that you really like, low mileage, without the super singles.
Yeah, but what about the PTO?
Yeah, and if it doesn't have a PTO, then I would definitely do it. I would put install PTO in there.
Okay, so you want to touch on briefly how it would look like?
Pricing wise,
It's a ballpark, but the process, like what do you need to do?
gonna need a hydraulic tank, hoses, PTO under the transmission, and then the inside the controls. I would say what, 3,500 roughly. I could be off, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not that big of a deal to install it.
No,
So focus on the truck more than
I would definitely.
than anything. Our last question is from Jamaica Johnson. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right. We have a company. We just need our first truck. Everyone's turning us down, even with good credit. What can we do? We need a loan of some kind that's not wanting so much money down. Good credit, interesting, because if you have a good credit, then there should be no reason for the bank to not give you a loan for a truck, depending on what you're trying to buy. Because what you want to look at is what banks are actually financing versus because there are obviously cutoff dates for older models. Not everybody's gonna
Finance an
older truck. Also gliders. Not everybody finances gliders. But that's a good question. I would have to have more information, because if you have a good credit score, and I'm assuming 700, then I would say there's no reason they shouldn't, other than not liking what they're financing. So find maybe banks that specialize in financing equipment, because if you're going to go to a credit union and all they do is condos, they're not gonna finance trucks for you. So try a couple banks.
So would you recommend going to your local bank, or what would you recommend?
Yeah,
Go to your local bank.
Local banks that specialize. U.S. Bank, I know, does equipment financing. BMO does a lot of equipment financing too. So they're not local banks, but I can tell you they're open to that market.
Okay.
So, but the relationship is the most important thing with the bank. Having a banker that you have a relationship and knows what you're doing, that's key. So it's always better with a smaller bank. Big banks, try them out. There's few of them that focus on equipment financing. That's it, I would say. We are, again, Facebook, Owner Operator Forum. Hop in, say hi. We have a lot more content there. Extra content, meaning it's just some background and maybe more interactions, because we usually do it when we have time. Just hop on there and help people out. It's a lot easier than comments. Sometimes you just have to scroll through the comments, and it's just like a lot harder. But yeah, we ready to rock today? It's 9 a.m.
Let's get it.
Right? Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, share, and we'll talk to you soon.